Hello, beloved. Welcome on in to another collective reading. Hope you're doing well out there, that this February has been kind to you. So today, thought we could do just a general collective reading rather than a pick a card reading to just anchor in on the energy and really to not create a cycle of codependency. That's one thing to think about anytime that you are engaging, honestly, with anything, is if you are building a codependence or a dependence on it. And to be mindful of that, it's like, how much do you doubt your own intuition and give that up to others to say that others know better, others know more, who are you? So don't want to create that kind of cycle here. We do want to give you supportive messages though whenever they come through and they're designated for you. Just a little initial message there. I'm sure if you're engaging with this kind of spiritual work, it can often feel chaotic and you want guidance and you just need some sort of confirmation, because a lot of that work is hidden, it's unseen, especially by other people or those in our lives, so those who we would consider our support system. And it can be hard to find folks who relate, and it could be hard to sometimes show up for yourself, count on yourself. So there's no judgment there at all. Just again, something to be mindful of is at any time, especially with how rapidly the spiritual community has grown and how that's gained popularity, don't give too much of your power away. Don't doubt yourself and your intuition and your own knowing, your downloads, the insights that you're receiving. Don't place so much value on others' words more than your own. Okay? So let's get into this little reading we've got. But first, we do want to invite you to meditate with us for our insight at our Insight Timer community. Over there, they do get our Coastal Affirmation podcast episodes early and ad-free. So if that's something you would like to build community with us over there, we'd love to have you. It's a wonderful community. They always give amazing, incredible feedback. And we actually might start featuring some of the comments that we've gotten in upcoming affirmation and meditation episodes. So keep your eye out on that. And yeah, so let's get into this. So firstly, just want to say there wasn't enough time to pre-record this video and get y'all the cards. So do listen to this as a podcast and just take it in that way. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Just want you to open yourself up to receive the message, ground down right now, and set the intention for inner wisdom, to receive inner wisdom, to connect with your own intuitive guidance, and to know that you are supported. So for what you're releasing, especially just as a whole, as a collective, we're releasing lack mentality, especially with inflation, depending on where you are. There's a lot of financial anxiety going on right now, a lot of scarcity, and I'm almost getting the energy of during the panorama when people were panic buying. And that's the energy I'm getting, is like this, oh no, what if? So it is good that we're releasing that, and we're heading towards more of this kind of let go and let live. Or that phrase, what is it? Let go and let God. It's almost like there's going to be an acceptance there, and this shift into more of an openness, more of a focus on living a healthy, good, well-intended life, rather than slaving away for $1 or burning the candle at both ends to try to make ends meet, right? Seems like there's going to be a shift, a big shift in the collective, where people are going to want to take their time back to be able to, let's say, afford taking their family out to a dinner, not just a vacation. That's like where most of us would go, but maybe it's just a dinner. Maybe it's affording that free time to do whatever it is that you please, to be able to do solo travel excursions, to be able to do a staycation, a wellness retreat, or to take a gap year and just figure out your purpose in life. It's like that is going to be a shift here. And I'm not surprised with Saturn going into Pisces pretty soon here in March, and Pluto changing into the sign of Aquarius. It's like people are going to start taking their, well, as we were talking about in the beginning, their power back, their authority back, and realizing that maybe our values as a society, we've been valuing kind of not the wrong things, but just maybe things that aren't necessarily beneficial to us as a collective. And so it's like the power is going to be shifting into the hands of the people. They're going to have more of a say, because without the people, right, a lot of these businesses, structures, corporations, they can't function. And so I see here people are going to be recognizing their value, what they bring to the table, what they want out of life. This could be where you find yourself as well. Taking that inner journey, almost like, I think we've mentioned it here before, but eat, pray, love. Kind of that where you're like, you know what? I want to actually enjoy my life. I want to live my life. I'm here for it. Especially with wonderment. So, sorry, should be saying that we're using the Inner Compass card deck, and it is linked in the description box for you. These are primarily like an affirmation deck, and I can pick up on energies that typically come up with cards from the traditional tarot Rider-Waite deck. So the cards that came out and why I'm getting this energy, the first one was Plenty, which is mainly about scarcity, as we talked about, and lack mentality. And then Monkey came up for the energy that we are going to be shifting into, which speaks about kind of nurturing that inner child, being free to play and allowing ourselves, freeing ourselves, right? Releasing ourselves from the chains, from the burdens, from the cages that we either have confined ourselves to, or we've been locked in unwillingly, right? Against our will, whether through coercion or exploitation or out of necessity. And then Wonderment also came out, And that speaks of, it's got the energy of the Six of Swords. So heading to better waters. But we have to leave. It's almost like exactly what we were discussing. We have to leave what we've either known, what came before us, how the ways, the traditions, how it's always been. But it was turbulent back there. Didn't help us. Maybe it was, we participated out of ego or out of self-preservation. And now, because we're going to say, we want something better, we want something new, we want something calmer, something that's soothing, that is in alignment with us, with a peace, with greater good, greater intentions, more wisdom and insightful intentions and action. That is what we are heading towards. And it's going to be beautiful. Now, it's not to say that it's going to just be like magic, we're going to get there, or that there's a final destination point. It's more about focusing on the journey itself of getting there and taking it all in, especially because on this card, there is like a castle off in the distance. I'm really getting like Walt Disney energy from it, because it's like, of course, when we're starting a new chapter, when we're heading to something new and different, something that we feel like just renewed, reinvigorated, because we're like, yes, this is going to work. This is better for me. This is what I know to be better for me. What I know to be better for me. Sometimes we romanticize that, and then we can lose sight of the work it takes to really ground our goals, our intentions, and so we can get kind of up in our heads. And I'm giving some of that Saturn and Pisces energy of the lessons being learned as a collective of grounding down our dreams and actually taking practical steps that are going to ensure that those dreams last, that they're not just a dream. And that's what we can kind of forget on the way. It's like, it just seems like it's in a thought, like it sometimes can just be up there somewhere. It's time for us to ground it down, get serious about it, be responsible, stay committed, and to consistently build upon whatever that dream is. Almost like, especially in the Six of Swords card, excuse me, where I'm getting the energy of, it's the rowing motion, helping that boat get to where we want to go. We have to row, and that's kind of what, as a collective, that's what we have to get serious about, is the rowing. And not to forget to take in the sights around us, to take in whatever we're learning on the way. So by the time we get to that castle off in the distance, we're ready to implement, we're ready to finalize and start again. Especially for our own well-being, with the card and with the nourishment card coming up here. It's talking about, as a whole, we have to get back to caring for our personhood, for the being itself. Not just us as a human being, but how are we being? Are we allowed to be? How are we nurturing that being? That's something that we're going to be shifting the focus to. And I think it's beautiful, to be quite honest. this energy of, it's like a mass healing. And apologies if you can hear all the construction going on in the back. It's just, it is what it is, unfortunately. Or fortunately, hey, things are getting fixed. And lastly, with Just Go coming up to kind of clarify things, it is a confirmation that I'm getting that this is the time. If there is any other time to do this healing work, to shift and transition, to try and ground down our dreams, the time is now. No more procrastination, no more thinking and dreaming about it, no more goal setting, vision boarding, and letting that be the only thing that we're doing. Now is the time to actually put in the work on that. Now's the time to stop avoiding the call that we're feeling, that we're receiving, that those intuitive nudges, the pull that we're getting. Whatever that little voice is in the back of your head that says, I should do this, I should do this, I want to do this. And then you end up talking yourself out of it, coming up with all these excuses to rationalize, or maybe those in your life don't see the vision, don't understand, and they're just talking it down or making it seem like that'll be the biggest mistake of your life. This is the time. If you ever needed a sign, which you're probably going to receive a lot of them during this Saturn and Pisces transit, now's the time. This is your sign to just go. The universe is granting you permission. Your higher self is granting you permission. You already know. Okay? So there are some additional cards here for what we can ask ourselves, how we can gain more insight, maybe be a little bit introspective. And so the first question is, how can you bring a sense of purpose to a specific monotonous task in your everyday life? Does that not sound like what we were discussing of having to take practical steps towards whatever dreams or goals that we have as a collective, that you have? And then the second one is, it says, tell a funny childhood story that encapsulates your personality now. But just think about it in this moment. You don't have to tell anybody. Unless you want to, you can comment it in the comment section. That, to me, is, again, touching on that monkey card where we have to get back in touch with our inner being, our inner child. Maybe this is a time where for some of us we've been healing that inner child so much that we forgot to let it run wild, to express itself, and to realize all the ways that we are validating that inner child, that how we have healed, and how we can move forward with the spirit of our inner child with us. And maybe not to just think of it as something to heal. Think of it as a joyous part of ourselves. It's not always wounded, right? There are good things that we can remember from our childhoods that shaped us into the person we are today, that meant something to us, that can still inspire us now. Maybe it was a comment from a teacher or a coach that you will never forget. Again, apologies for all the construction, y'all. Okay. The next question is, what have you learned about beauty in the last few years? See, and that to me speaks on nourishment. and what we were talking about with value, what we're valuing. Maybe health, has become the new wealth in your mind, and maybe that's somewhere we're going as a collective, is to understand our being matters, our mental health matters, our quality of life matters, not just the superficial. And then lastly, we've got a question of what 3 internal character traits are the most beautiful to you? And that one actually popped out twice. It came out before, wasn't feeling right, and then it came out again. So that is an important one to think about, which could just be a blend of all of the other insights that you're receiving here. Maybe now you're valuing more of your masculine energy, and we as a whole, right? Like we could be shifting from focusing on the external or masculine energy back to feminine energy and being receptive, or it's like we're starting to be attracted to new and better things because we are placing value on new and better things. We're shifting the focus back onto maybe being a compassionate person, maybe on going with the flow of life and not being stressed out, on maybe spiritual freedom and liberation, especially with our days and how we spend our time. We want to be free. Those could be some things, right? Or not staying stuck and stagnant. And so now we're valuing just going for the gusto. Stop self-sabotaging or keeping ourselves small because society says that thing that we're interested in isn't valuable. Those could be some things coming up for us. And lastly, as I kept shuffling here, another card popped out, which was, what would your grandparents be most shocked about modern culture? That's an interesting one because it sounds like, especially with this reading, the energies that are coming up is that there's a new dawn ushering in right now. A new era is being ushered in here. An era that focuses more on the people. And that could be shocking. As with any change that we encounter on a large scale, or just personally, there's going to be resistance. So don't be surprised. Okay? As we get a grapple on the unknowns of these shifts, there are going to be people who villainize that, misunderstand it, and maybe there are going to be those that intentionally misunderstand it. Our job is to keep going, to keep moving forward with what our intuition is telling us, how we're being guided, divinely guided. To not let any of that stop us or to change our subconscious mind. To not put ourselves back in that cage. Okay, so those are the collective messages that came through for us. Hopefully this reading has been helpful to you in some way. If it has, feel free to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you here. And again, think about joining us over on our Insight Timer community. We'd love to have you there, working with us, doing all of this healing, inner work, inner child work, okay, with our guided affirmations, meditations, and journaling prompts. All right, So, with that, thank you so much for being here, beloved. Wishing you peace and wellness on your healing journey.